Can you be a construction manager with an associate's degree? The answer is yes. And there are some reasons why it might be awesome to have an associate's and not a bachelor's degree. And there might be some reasons where coming in hot without a degree might not be as good as having an associate's degree. And I'm going to talk all about that right now. Now, we have talked about this before, but we like to respond to industry engagement that we've gotten up to this point, which is exactly what this video is about. Bottom line is, I've worked with people that had MBAs and couldn't run a huddle. And then I've worked with people that either didn't have a degree or had an associate's that are running multi-$100 million projects now. Really, it comes down to competence. And if you want to come into construction with an associate's degree after 2 years, I say good. We need people, we need bright minds, and there's a way to fast track you with the right field experience to the leadership roles that you want. And again, it's not the paper that builds the job, it's the experience, it's the person. So if you're into all that, stay with me on this video. Okay, so I'm going to jam out and talk to you concept by concept on why it's okay to have an associate's degree and you can go become a wonderful and successful construction manager. But first I want to say I'm not covering how to get in. I've talked about that over and over, and I'm going to put it in the description below how to do it. But you've got to get in however it is, whether it's an internship, coming up through the craft, a different position, a lateral move, somebody that you know, the degree. You've got to get in, but once you're in, you can do all the things I'm about to talk to you about. So let's do these one by one. Construction is less corporate based and more competence based. So that's great. So you don't need to have the document like you would if you're being a lawyer or an airline pilot or a doctor. It's more, can you do the job? And I've seen lots and lots of people make it from competence, and that doesn't have much to do with going all the way to a bachelor's or a master's degree. Usually construction doesn't have the same gatekeeping process. Here's what I want to say, is that once you're in, you're great. Like, it's not like, oh, it was hard to get in, now it's hard to get to the next promotion and the next. Once you're in, you show competence, you grind, you're good with people, right? You're going to make it. So once you pass the get in gate, there aren't a lot of gates after that. Like, the world is your oyster. You can go pretty much anywhere you want if you have a great work ethic and you're crushing it, right? So there's a little bit less gatekeeping. So that's another reason why I love the idea of the associates. Another thing is the associates can be faster. First of all, I want you in internships. I want you to get going. And if you're like, hey, I've got an associate's, and you've been pestering these recruiters for a long time, and you're like, hey, I've got 2 internships and I've got an associate's, get me in, and that's the possible break, and you're like, okay, I'm in, then possibly you can get started and be in leadership positions in your late 20s or early 30s because you've cut 2 years off of the timeline. Now, I'm not saying cut time off of field engineering or project engineering or the field experience. I'm saying if you gave me the choice, would I want somebody to take another 2 years to get a bachelor's or spend those 2 years as a field engineer? A million, thousand, quadrillion, those aren't even real numbers, %, I want them having that field experience. So it could be a fast track option. The other thing, and I've said this before, and I'm going to say it again, it's that important. At the risk of boring you, field experience is key. I want you to go help your mom or your dad go build that summer cabin. I want you to have experience in the craft. I want you to go do that labor position. I want you to work with the field engineers out in the field. Oh, this is what I want to talk about, is that coming from the field up is better than doing management down, because you have that base and you're going to accelerate your career. Don't rush it, right? The people that have the biggest difficulty in construction are the ones that skip that field experience. That's a mistake. We can't do that. The other thing is, if they're like, yeah, I'm successful, even if they do get successful and they've skipped the field side of it, it's more project management, more paperwork, more RFIs, more submittals, more waste, more meetings, more administration, more oversight. We don't need that. We need people. We need production. We need doing real things in construction. We've got to get out of era 2 and away from PMP and away from PMI and away from meetings upon meetings and leaders upon leaders and paperwork upon paperwork. And we've got to get back to doing real things in the field. I've seen so many people literally come from the labor ranks. Maybe they were a carpenter, a finisher, a surveyor, or they just did internships, or they got in as a field engineer somehow. that have gotten really great experience and just crushed it. As long as they've learned the basics, they've crushed it and gone so fast, so far in their careers, and they are leading massive projects today. I see it over and over again. Get that field experience. Let me just quickly talk about some misconceptions that we need to debunk right now. I need a bachelor's degree to get a management job. Maybe, but not always. And the reason I want to change your mind about this is don't get stuck on that. Apply, 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 get in, get creative. I want to see people starting to say, Jason, I got in, I got in, I got in. Instead of having the limiting belief and perpetuating the belief that you have to have a bachelor's degree to get in. The other thing is if somebody waited for the bachelor's degree, they're going to perpetuate that and tell that to other people and gatekeep. We've got to start moving out of that as fast as we can and focus more on competence and experience. An associate's degree means that I'm going to be stuck. No, it doesn't. If it gets you in, you're going to go as far as you want to because that's how construction works. Construction firms only promote people with full degrees. I've heard that before. I had a general superintendent who I loved say, Jason, yeah, you can get in as a field engineer without a degree, but you'll be a field engineer for life. Not true. I progressed so far and so fast and so well by learning and doing training that I outpaced, this is going to sound petty, I've been seeing some of the people that I grew up with in construction that used to like talk down to me because they had bachelor's degrees, and they're like, Jason, you're never going to make it if you don't have a degree. And I made it to general superintendent before them, and then I made it to field director, and they didn't. And then I started my business, which I want to do, which they didn't, and I'm outpaced and better known than they are. Now that sounds petty. I'm just saying it's categorically untrue that you will get held back if you don't have a degree or the bachelor's. Should you go for a bachelor's? If you want to, great. I honor and respect anybody who does. Do you have to? No. Should you do an associate's? Well, if you're a little bit rough around the edges like I was, you need a little bit more maturity, some more structure, then sure, go for it. That'll become a great base. Can you get in without a degree? Sure, but you're going to have to get super creative. I'm not saying do one or the other. I'm just saying let's take this fixed mindset concept and break it open and create mini paths and normalize it because we want more competent and awesome and diverse people. Real quick, I have to say this. Diversity is a thing. It's super awesome. We want men, women, different classes, different ethnicities. The most diverse teams win. Don't let anything in the current political climate fool you about that. People are going to be super embarrassed being anti-diversity in the future. We want more people in this industry. We want lots of diversity, and we want different diversities in the paths that people take. I promise you, because that pans out every time. So stay strong, keep the vision, and let's break out of these norms and make sure that everybody has a place and that everybody fits. I'm going to turn this into a blog post for you. I hope you love it. On we go.